Recently, Ilia Topuria talked about how he would like to fight at the White House against Islam Makhachev. He wants to move up another weight class, go for a third title, make history becoming the first three-division champion in UFC history. Makhachev says he wants that fight too. He accepts that, but first he has to win the belt against JDM in a couple weeks' time at UFC 322. And also, Ilia got to win his next fight and defend the lightweight belt, something that he's going to do probably in January against Paddy Pimblett.
He wants to fight in White House, and I also want to be there. It's going to be like big, like, for MMA community, it's gonna be big fights now, and people want this fight. And if UFC want this fight, and we can do this. I know UFC want to do like some big fight in White House. Which fight is gonna be bigger than this?
This was a fight that would have made sense in the 155 division for the 155 title, but Makhachev decided to drop the belt and go for a second belt against Jack Della Maddalena. If Makhachev happens to lose against JDM, he could go back down and fight for the lightweight belt against Ilia, but I don't know if he's going to want to do that after kind of filling into the welterweight division, getting a 170-pound frame, but it is an option for him. Makhachev also indicates that 170 is going to be better for me. If I have to cut to 155, it's going to be hard. Dana White has to pay for this, so his days at lightweight may be done. If he doesn't fight at 155 anymore, he'll lead the division, having the most title defenses in UFC history in the lightweight division with 4, and BJ Penn and Khabib Nurmagomedov would be in second place with 3. Tom wanted Cyril Gane disqualified because he said the referee warned him earlier about closing his fists. Cyril Gane's coach, Fernando Lopez, didn't want Gane signing this photo. Gane thought the photo was funny and was going to sign it, but Lopez stopped him. Islam Makhachev in New York City. He'll be fighting there in just over a couple weeks, experiencing some road rage driving in the streets of New York.
Hey! Fuck you up, bitch! How you drive?
Some people think the old Pride FC gloves could help reduce eye pokes because they had a more curved or pre-rolled shape, keeping the hand naturally in a fist or semi-closed position. Gane winning. Did anyone actually watch the fight? Landed strikes were close, 30-27, and Aspinall had the octagon control all the time. Casuals forget that this is equally valued as strikes. It's not equally valued in the scoring criteria, though. They only go to octagon control if everything else is equal. Damage is the number one thing in the scoring criteria, and Gane was ahead, I think, in the damage aspect, landing more significant strikes. Bloodied up Tom a little bit. I'm not saying it was a blowout by any means. It was a close round. I would have favored Gane a little bit to that point, but there's still 25 seconds left in the round when that eye poke happened, so it was very much still on the table that round. Tom could have stole the round by landing a big shot towards the end of the round, dropping Gane, rocking Gane, throwing a flurry of strikes at the end of the round, cutting him. The round was still on the table. The fight was very much still on the table. It was just getting started. I think one guy who's happy with the way that fight went is John Jones. I think he's going to try and make an argument to make Tom look bad, saying, you were getting beat up by the guy I destroyed, so why would I be ducking you? It's not a good argument. It's not a fair argument, but when guys are talking shit, a lot of times the arguments are not fair and are not good. So I could see him trying to boost himself up and knocking down Aspinall by saying, the guy I destroyed was beating you. And John Jones is already starting to use that kind of argumentation because he reposted this image of him fighting Gane 2 minutes and 4 seconds into the contest. He wins, and 4:35 into Gane's contest with Aspinall, Aspinall looks like this. But again, this is not a fair image because he looks like that due to being illegally poked in the eye. So that's not fair, but it's also a move that John Jones uses as well to get advantage over some opponents, poking the shit out of their eyes. He's admitted that in the past, and also was prideful about it, having no parameters of fair play in the cage and intentionally fouling people by sticking his fingers in their eyes.
Looking for the baddest man on the planet. We're going to put $50,000 into one lucky dad's pocket out there so he can give his family the best Christmas ever. So the requirements for this one are pretty simple. You got to be a dad, of course. That's your first thing. Number 2, dad bods are plus, but not essential. Number 3, you can never have had an official ring fight before. So boxing, kickboxing, MMA will disqualify you from entering the competition. So how to enter? Don't message me. You're going to have to show up here in person, November 8th at the Auckland Domain, 2 p.m. From there, we're going to check your weight, take some contact information, and we're going to pick our 32 lucky dads to fight on December 14th.
Former UFC fighter Andre Ewell will be fighting in karate combat on Saturday. Lerone Murphy says, the Madison Square Garden card is going to be fire. I wish I was on that one. He won't be on that one, but some people thought he was going to be fighting Diego Lopez next because he said, I'm just watching tape in between sessions, and it was Diego Lopez that he was watching, but he says that's just what he does. He watches fighters in his division, and that doesn't mean that he is going to fight him. He says he's not. Diego Brandao picked up a victory in Tough Enough Organization over Kai Kamaka. Alexander Volkov says he thought that Gane won the first round against Aspinall, and he says he lost against me, so he likes his standing in the heavyweight division. But in terms of the rankings, Volkov's going to stay put at number 2 after beating number 5 ranked Jailton Almeida. Almeida, I don't know what in the world he was thinking in that fight. He had no output whatsoever, just took down Volkov and held him down. The way he fought, it was like he forgot you're allowed to strike on the ground. He threw nothing. He had 10 minutes and 47 seconds of control time and landed 4 strikes on the ground off 5 attempts. It was crazy. 0 submission attempts. Unbelievably low output on the ground, which is bizarre because he has such finishing instincts in other fights, landing big ground and pound to get finishes, bunch of submission victories in his career. In his last fight, he was going crazy landing strikes on the ground, stopping Sergey Spivak. So he has incredible finishing instinct, but once in a while, he decides to just do nothing and have a shit fight like he did with Derek Lewis for 25 minutes, holding him down, and he did it for 15 minutes against Volkov, and he lost the decision. I don't know how these guys are so confident that they're going to win a decision when they have no damage whatsoever. Nurmagomedov says if he doesn't get a title shot against the winner of Merab and Yan, he's willing to take on a fight with guys in the top 5 and top 7, like a Davison Figueiredo or an Aben Zahabi. I respect that because a lot of guys will just be adamant about getting a title shot, but he's willing to fight guys ranked below him. It'll be interesting, though, if Merab beats Yan, and he is favored to do so. Like, he's run out of challengers. He's just beaten these guys for a second time at this point. Umar is probably the guy with the best chance to beat Merab. Merab would still be a favorite, but Umar seems like the only guy who might have a shot to maybe edge out a decision victory against him. It was 2-2 going into the 5th round on 2 of the scorecards, so that's quite rare for a Merab fight. Usually by round 5, it's a foregone conclusion. He's going to win the fight. He's just got to let the clock run out and get his hand raised. Jake Matthews made an appeal for his loss against Neil Magny because in the first round, towards the end of the first round, the referee jumped in with a couple seconds left in the round saying that Magny was out and he called the fight off, but then Magny said, no, I'm not out, so the ref decided to let the fight continue. Matthews would end up losing in the 3rd round by choke. He made an appeal, but apparently it's not going to work. Referee's decision ruled final by the Western Australia MMA Commission. Magny's manager says appeal denied in accordance with the unified rules of MMA under the Western Australia Combat Sports Commission. The referee's decision will remain final. Magny's win is confirmed. Magny's last 3 victories have all been come from behind victories over Jake Matthews, Zaleski dos Santos, and Mike Malott. Official poster for Saturday's card, that's Steve Garcia versus David Onama at the UFC Apex. Pretty much an even money fight. I think Garcia is a slight favorite in that one. That's number 12 and 13 in the featherweight division. A heavyweight contest is the co-main event. Tom Aspinall's teammate Ante D'Elia taking on Waldo Cortez Acosta. A chance for D'Elia to move into the top 6 in his second UFC fight. His first fight was a win over Marcin Tybura in the 1st round, which put him number 9 in the rankings. Waldo Cortez Acosta is ranked number 6. He's a slight favorite in this one. He is very durable, as he showed in his last fight against Sergey Pavlovich, and pretty good at winning decisions, so he's a slight favorite against Ilia. Like, comment, subscribe, and share if you want to donate. You can via Super Thanks. Until next time, thanks for watching.